Hi! Welcome back again. Oh geez, these glasses are going to drive me crazy. Yeah, I have bifocals. My other glasses were fogged up, but they are better now. Excellent! That way I don't feel like somebody's flicked water at the bottom of my glasses. Because I will not be reading anything particularly close to my face right now. Oh, we're getting into another box. Whee! Break stuff. Okay, so earlier on I had the 3 books of occult philosophy. Welcome to the 4th book of occult philosophy. Yeah, these are all looking at Western occultism. Good books. The whole ancient tech. Oh, that's lovely. The very first book when I was looking into paganism that I bought has been reprinted and recovered. The Book of Pagan Rituals. I love this book. Now it's dated. Yeah, it's very dated, and compared to a lot of other books, it is very simple. It was originally written in 1978. This book. Oh no, I'm going to tell you my age. This book was printed when I was 1 year old. 1 year old? Yeah, 1 year old. The Book of Pagan Rituals. It used to have this kind of faux leather cover. It still has the same color though, and the same typeset, and it is awesome. Some people have asked me when they've heard me in Magick chant, what, for lack of a better word, I tend to refer to as the Echo Echo Azarak. The elemental chant, the Iodio Hahaye chant. I'll do it really quickly. Air breathe and air blow, make the mill of magic go, work the will for which I pray, Iodio Hahaye, water turn and water boil, make the mill of magic toil, work the will for which I pray, Iodio Hahaye, fire flame and fire burn, make the mill of magic turn, work the will for which I pray, Iodio Hahaye, earth without and earth within, make the mill of magic spin, work the will for which I pray, Iodio Hahaye. And I kind of did that out of order. Usually I walk around the circle and say it to the direction I'm going in. I kind of skipped around the circle there for those of you who are paying attention. Awesome book. Love that book. Very formative for me. Now, earlier on I had talked about high magic, and if you have practiced from the Goetia or the Key of Solomon, well, if you haven't, here they are. More kind of theurgy. Now, the Goetia, oh boy. This Goetia is translated by Samuel Little McGregor Mathers. That's a mouthful. For those of you who don't know who he was one of the kind of the bigwigs in the lodges in Europe. He and Aleister eventually had, Aleister Crowley that is, had kind of a bumpy relationship. In this book though, in the Goetia, it's a lot of theurgy to control demons. One thing which makes it kind of unique is that it has a lot of artwork originally drawn by Aleister Crowley. His handwriting was atrocious. His art was, and I know some people are going to get mad at me for saying this, his art was incredibly juvenile. However, it is obvious when he was, that he did some of his illustrations for this book when he was coming to terms with his own burgeoning bisexuality. I'd love to show you the picture of Foras on page number 42. I imagine that various decency laws will not allow me to. Suffice it to say, up to here. You'll understand the moment you look at page 42. Make merry and step in song, a seasonal treasury of music, mummers' plays, and celebrations in the English folk tradition. Now this is something which is likely to be of interest to people who practice kind of more of an English magic, but also for SCAers, which I am one of. Interesting book. Look very, very much forward to being able to sink my teeth into that. May have to race other people to be able to. Ooh. Ooh. Now, this is a set of oracle cards I have been waiting for and very excited about. This is the Earth Wisdom Oracle cards. It's got a very kind of Celtic, Druidic kind of feel to it. The imagery on this one really speaks to me. So, again, people may have to race me for it. Oh, am I kidding? I don't get paid enough to buy all these books. Yeah, no, it'll be here for people who are interested. You may have to race me for it, but given that there's been a good many books I'm like, you're going to have to race me for it, I'm going to have to prioritize, and there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of stuff I want in this store. Hopefully there's a lot of stuff you want too. Trance Dancing with the Jinn. The ancient art of contacting spirits through ecstatic dance. I really wanted this because there's a lot of ways to alter consciousness. And trance dance, that kind of rhymes and sounds goofy. Sounds actually like some kind of electronic dance music. It's not, but it's about finding that trance state through sacred motion and dance. So very cool, very, very cool. I really want to know more about that. Oh, and I like these National Audubon Society books. They're pretty small, but they are so dense with information. It is phenomenal. Now, these books I have very much because I like adding the scientific to it. We have one on minerals, and that really looks at the hardness and what have you of the gemstones that we're so used to just reading the magical properties of. This is the field guide to insects and spiders. Bum bum bum, spoopy. Again, I really don't find spiders as scary. They're pretty good companions. If you like, sometime when you're in the store, ask me about spider fences, and I will tell you a very fun story about a way that I used my eight-legged friends to not only protect me from insects, but also large pests as well. And this is one I was really looking forward to. Wand lore. This book is all about wand lore, constituents of wands, crafting wands, stuff like that. All about wands. And it's really pretty. Now here's another one by Raven Gramassi. I think to keep in mind is a lot of the old classical religions were what are called mystery traditions or mystery schools. This is looking at witchcraft as a mystery school, or as a mystery tradition. There are some truths, it said, that cannot be communicated by word or in a class. They can simply only be spoken in the language of experience and contemplation. And this is looking into kind of helping you quest on that path of contemplation. Ooh, now this is a recently printed book. Speaking, remember I talked about there being a bunch of different ways to power. Dance is one of them. This looks at the witch's 8 paths to power, which is pretty cool. This was recently printed. If I recall, it's by a Canadian author, isn't it? Lady Sable Aradia. I think she's Canadian. I could be wrong. Please don't quote me on that. You know, I call it very recent, and it was back in 2014. I may be a little behind the times. Oh well. But we have copies of it. So if you were seeing that being talked about on, say, Pagans Across Canada or something like that, which is a Facebook group, we have it here in store. Now, I have books on feng shui and operational feng shui. This looks at feng shui history. It's the story of classical feng shui in China and the West from 221 BC to 2012 AD. Or, if you are more comfortable, 221 CE or BCE to 2012 CE. Either way, Stephen Skinner, who is an excellent author on many different kind of magical sources, especially ceremonial magic. So there you are. More information on the history of feng shui, how it got here to us. Georg von Wellington. The Opus Magio Kabbalisticum et Theosophicum, in which the origin, nature, characteristics, and use of salt, sulfur, and mercury are described in 3 parts together, with much wonderful mathematical, theosophical, magical, and mystical material, as well as thoughts on the creation of metals and minerals in nature, many curious magio-kabbalistic illustrations, and a key to the entire work. Also included are essays on divine wisdom and an appendix on several quite rare and precious alchemical pieces. When the title of a book makes you want to pass out. However, this was at one time considered a book of forbidden knowledge. Now, available in hardcover. Ooh, the modern age. Planet signs in the houses. You may think, oh, okay, well that seems like a basic book on astrology. Look closer, my friend, look closer. This isn't just any astrology. This is Vedic astrology. Kind of Hinduish, if I recall. Yeah, Hindu, Vedic. I look forward to seeing more about it. For those of you who don't know who that strange statue is, that is Ganesha. And yes, his trunk is eating bonbons because he loves his sweets. One of my favorite gods, too. Now, to further expand into subjects of Reiki, which are not normally covered, this is a big book of Reiki symbols. I was unaware. Normally, you'll see sets of 4 Reiki symbols on stones. This apparently goes a lot further into traditional Reiki symbols, explaining them in full detail. That would be very interesting. These are 2 books I've been looking forward to. Chinese Traditional Herbal Medicines, Volume 1 and 2. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Volume 1 deals a lot more with diagnosis and treatment, whereas Volume 2 deals with what often is called materia medica, or materia medicina. Essentially, you're looking at herbal resources and methods of information. Planetary herbology, involving astrology in your in your herbal practices. Now, I talked about having more kind of on Hindu type beliefs, stuff like that. The Nag Hammadi scriptures, usually actually kind of viewed as more Gnostic writing. The Pagan Book of Living and Dying, something sadly very rarely addressed in the pagan community. Let's see if I can get this done before I run out of space to record. The Woman's Dictionary of Symbols and Sacred Objects. Woo, lady spirituality. This is for you, girls. The Book of Oberon. Now, I know that it sounds very kind of Fey-oriented, but this is more Elizabethan magic, and it is a beautiful hardcover, and it is gorgeous, and I want it. The Complete Magician's Tables. This is an old book. I have a more modern kind of version, very, very similar, but this one's going to be kind of an hoary old text and have the hoary old text feel. The Palmistry Bible. Woo! Once again, very much the Bible series of books. Very easy to read, very colorful, good stuff, but also basic. If you're looking for advanced stuff, the basics have no fun for you, don't buy that one. The Pocket Spell Creator, magical references at your fingertips. This is essentially the version of my little cheat book. For those of you who know me, I have a little book called a cheat book, and it has, this doesn't have explanations on how to do things. It does not have descriptions of how to meditate. This is just correspondences, recipes. It is just information. Now, I think I'm running out of time. I kind of want this book. I gotta get more of that book. That book looks fun. Anyway, another empty box. There are 3 boxes remaining. It, however, is now 1:09 a.m. I'm going home. I hope you all had a good time going through these boxes with me. I hope that I'm able to get the other 3 recorded and that they're entertaining. I hope I haven't driven any of you to suicide with the boredom that I've inflicted on you. In the meantime, have yourselves a great day or a great evening, depending on where you are in your day. And I will hopefully see you again real soon. Bye.